we're going to go along this side of the Merced River, and we're going to go in toward the Ahwahnee Hotel. Our first stop is we're going to stop at the Ahwahnee, and I want you guys to see what that looks like inside. When we go inside, we need to keep our voices toned down because people pay a ton of money to stay there. So what I want you to look at there is look at the artwork that's in there, look at the baskets that are out there on display, look at the architecture of the building, because the Ahwahnee Hotel was one of Gilbert Stanley Underwood's architectural masterpieces, and it's been around for almost 100 years. And then when we get done there, we're going to walk over to the visitor center area, and I'm going to stop a couple times along the way to point out certain things to you guys as we go. But when we get to the visitor center, you'll see all the displays and things that they have set up for facelifts. So when we get there, our goal is to spend time looking in the Cultural Museum, looking in the visitor center. You guys should all have your journals with you. You should all be writing in them today at some point or another. At one point, there's nothing left in the cabin, but I can show you the rock slide. Rock slides happen on Half-Dome. We had one day. There's this big, if you see this, there's a big white chunk on the lower part of Glacier Point here.
Katie, hi. I'm Ladislaw, and I forgot your name.
Alex.
Alex. Hi.
Hi.
It's also under renovation right now. We've had a lot of issues that need to be taken care of, so we're working on things inside. So what we'll do is we'll take a walk.
Would it be justifiable to, if you're doing the refinish, re-harvest new wood from the old area?
Not to go clear because we're just
I got you on recording.
It's a public health clinic now, but they had a dentist office and then a yard. Watch out. You got people coming through.
This is the Yosemite Cemetery. It's small, but quiet and peaceful. Headstones made from actual stones. Galen Clark. Can't really see them. on. Look up close. James C. Lamon. 1875. This is ancient. Lots of history here. In memory of Albert May. 1881. Peaceful. Some more. A walk in the park.
And then my beautiful, peaceful friend, writing in her journal.
Melina. She is achieving her goals today by writing in her journal, which I need to do next. Look at all of the peaks in the background. It's not without many views that are like skyscrapers of the mountains. Beautiful views constantly. Can't get enough of those.
And he's burying it. Yep. Bury your net.
This is a program called the Yosemite Facelift, where people get together and clean up trash and clean up the park and beautify it. There's a lot of booths and rangers that you can talk to with interpretive like guides who help you like learn and understand, you know, how to keep our park safer and cleaner and better for the whole. It's pretty cool. They have booths for everybody. Oh, look, hangboard challenge. See how long you can hold on.
So you saw me tuxedo? It was full tuxedo. Mini.
This entire time I thought he was supposed to the scientific data that we're trying to collect is actually from that location and in that context itself. So most of this stuff was brought here to us by volunteers who thought we cared more about the stuff, but we actually care about the place and about the people who might have left it here, trying to figure out who they were, answer a lot of the questions that our archival research, our research in libraries can't tell us. That the only way we can find out about the different kinds of Chinese medicine that people were using is from doing residue analysis of medicine bottles we find in place.
Right.
So please, if you see anything like this, how do you know that glass is historic or not historic? What do you notice that's different about this glass than like glass
The
that you
density?
It's very thick.
Yep, yeah, it's thicker, there's bubbles in it, sometimes you'll see a really unusual maker's mark on the bottom. Sometimes, we never find things this cute anymore. You guys are welcome to touch and look and fall in love with any of this stuff.
Got to look in there and be told that I'm not allowed to record the paintings on the wall. Oopsie. And then I found this book. They're supposed to be journaling, so this will give me ideas. A windstorm in the forest with some beautiful quotes and sayings, and the way he writes is like a poet, like He makes it smooth and connected, like a feeling. So when you come up here, you can experience every little detail. Nothing missed out for the imagination. So I might find a peaceful spot and write down my thoughts. Your local post office. Probably takes a while for things to get out, having to drive through the windy mountains. But there you go. Historical post office area. Coming out of the mountains here. Yeah. It's pretty cool. We have a deli back here where you can actually order food way up in the mountaintops. Hi! And then I'm gonna come sit down and write in my journal.
This is beautiful. Can you imagine this being your office? What the hell?
Someone's rocking out in their office.
I thought they were leaves.
All right, come on up here, you guys. So there's a couple things that I want to share with you here. Not only the amazing view, right? This is a great view.
It's insane.
That little pinnacle that you see up there is called Lost Arrow Spire. And it's pretty famous from the standpoint of what you can do there. But on Lost Arrow Spire, one of the customary things that people do is they'll set up a Tyrolean traverse. It's a rope system that goes from the top of the pinnacle to the cliff. And then they'll go back and forth on it. And it's a pretty crazy thing. I've never done it, but I've seen it in play. Now,
Yosemite Valley going over to the campgrounds, and we could be going around and checking food storage, doing stuff like that on horseback. Yeah, we do all sorts of different things with them. So you'll see them out and about quite a bit, from maintaining backcountry outhouses to hauling supplies for our trail crews to doing patrols. I mean, there really is a total all the work that we do today, even for search and rescue. We haul people out of backcountry.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, be a mounted horse ranger. Yeah. Horses in Yosemite.
Oh yeah, big one.
Bunch of tree sniffers. Tree sniffers. More tree sniffers.
So,
Marshmallows and cigars.
yeah.
Smells like sweet bread.
I collect all my thoughts about what I want to talk about. So, this is a ponderosa pine, also known as the yellow pine. When they're very, very mature, they have this beautiful yellow bark.
They smell really good, Daddy.
When logging was first taking place in the old-growth forests out here in the west, the loggers would see the yellow pines like this, and they'd see young ponderosa pines and think they were two different species because they look pretty different. We now understand them to be just a more mature version of the other one. Ponderosa pines release this sweet-smelling scent that kind of is reminiscent of cinnamon or marshmallows, bakery, cookies, and that is to attract good insects to the tree. So that's going to be insects that might kill our tree. Yeah, terpenes, exactly right. And the terpenes, you can actually smell a kind of difference in the spring and in the fall with the ponderosa pines. In the spring, it kind of gets a little bit more of a bitter smell, but in the fall, it's pretty sweet like this. A lot of the times in mixed conifer forests like this, you'll find ponderosa pines growing alongside incense cedars, like these bunch that are over there. It's very well adapted to surviving in direct sunlight, whereas the incense cedar not so much. So you'll find this kind of symbiosis between the ponderosas and the cedars, where they grow in the shade of the ponderosas. And so you find them all around a forest like this. Now this forest has a ton of different trees. You know, we've got some dogwoods coming up. We've got some oak trees. We've got even many different species of berry bushes that are growing out here. Guy finds a really cool shiny yellow rock in the foothills of these. Sorry, that's a red-shouldered hawk. Don't know where it is. Yeah. Keep your ears open because there's a red-shouldered hawk calling. California gold rush, and close to 300,000 people moved to California trying to strike it rich. And when they come out here, they move directly into the habitat of 2 bear species that were living here in California. The most aggressive one being the California grizzly bear. The California grizzly bear, standing on its back legs, would have been 12 to 14 feet tall, would have weighed over 1,000, 1,200 pounds, something like that. It would have been a huge animal.
Park ranger. The park management. Ranger training. It's that peaceful, easy feeling when you're out in Yosemite National Park. This is why I'm alive. For this. Yep. I want this to be my view every day. Every day, please. Yes, please. Most beautiful thing I ever saw. Oop, horses poop. Yeah, I should be riding horses out here. It's crazy. Absolutely amazing. Too bad it's like 80 degrees outside, but it's gonna be raining tomorrow and the next day, so we'll have a cool down. I didn't bring anything to get wet in. I should have brought a swimming suit, but I didn't, or a towel, and I didn't. So it's just legs. Legs.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do it.
But it felt really good. the famous Hetch Hetchy and O'Shaughnessy Dam, which provides water for San Francisco area, as well as many other areas. Now class is gathered together, and we're going to learn what we can about Hetch Hetchy, and then do a Yosemite facelift for the cleanup.
So, any other observations? What do you think?
Submarine-looking tunnel.
Submarine tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah, for you, there's a special submarine there.
Really? Can I go
Yeah.
to Columbia with it?
Yeah, I think the Beatles wrote about that in one of their songs, "The Yellow Submarine."
I know that song. Yeah.
So, as you guys are walking, what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time today, and we're going to walk across through the tunnel. I've got a spot where I like to stop, and we can take a break, and we can talk about. I'm going to do a little bit of reading from John Muir's book when we get out there, and I'll start with something here in a minute. I want you to kind of just observe this area and picture possibly what it would have looked like before the dam, because this was the place that John Muir said this was Yosemite's twin. And he always referred to this as being Yosemite Valley's twin. And when they decided to put the O'Shaughnessy Dam here, anybody remember the act of Congress that authorized this? Raker Act? So the Raker Act had a couple things that were important about it connected to national parks. One, it established the O'Shaughnessy Dam. Two, it was also the act that allowed for the designation of Lassen Volcanic National Park up north. And if you haven't been to Lassen, I encourage you to go to Lassen. I spent 10 summers there. It's an incredible place. Now, when we're walking around here, start to look at the features that you see, and if you see features that look similar to Yosemite Valley, because there are features that are very similar. If you ever come up here and go for a hike and you want to do a really nice backcountry trip, this cliff face right here, there's a trail that zigzags back up to the top of the cliff face, and then it goes up into a northern region of the park, the north boundary, called Many Island Lakes. And it's an incredible backpack trip if you ever have the time to do it. You can also shorten it by coming around Wapama Falls on the other side and coming around this way back out. So this is kind of an access point to the northern part of the park, as well as if you go to Tuolumne Meadows, you can hit the northern reaches of the park as well. It starts out as, Yosemite is so wonderful that we are apt to regard it as an exceptional creation, the only valley of its kind in the world. But nature is not so poor as to have only one of anything. Several other Yosemites have been discovered in the Sierra that occupy the same relative position on the range and were formed by the same forces in the same kind of granite. One of these, the Hetch Hetchy Valley, is Yosemite National Park, about 20 miles from Yosemite, and easily accessible to all sorts of travelers by road and trail that leaves the Big Oak Flat Road at Bronson Meadow and a few miles below Crane Flat, and to the mountaineers by the way of Yosemite Creek Basin and the head of the middle fork of the Tuolumne. So we're going to start our little walk across the dam right now. You'll go through the tunnel. It's pretty nice in there because it's really cool. I really appreciate the fact that all of you got going early today, because I was telling Ryan on the way, this is the earliest we've ever gotten here in the course of a day.
Yeah.
And it'll be cooler, and it won't be as hot as it usually is when we get out here. But it's a spot that I like to take people to because they need to understand that part of the story. If you talk to Derek Newman won't come here. He won't come here.
Why?
Because of what this means and what it meant to changing this valley. And that's cool. And I'm okay
Sensitive.
with that.
Yeah.
But we need to know the story and understand why this is here and why we don't want to do this going forward.
Here we go. Sal and I are walking in this tunnel. I'm out of breath.
Did you just add that, or was that you?
That was me.
Oh, okay. I thought you added like a sound effect.
So he starts out and he says, it is said to have been discovered by Joseph Screech, a hunter in 1850, a year before the discovery of the Great Yosemite. And when he first refers to the Great Yosemite, he talks about Yosemite Valley that way. After my first visit to it in the autumn of 1871, I have always called it the Tuolumne Yosemite. For it is wonderfully exact counterpart of the Merced Yosemite. Not only in the sublime rocks and the waterfalls, but in the gardens, groves, and meadows of its flowery park-like floor. The floor of Yosemite is about 4,000 feet above the sea. Hetch Hetchy floor is about 3,700. And as the Merced River flows through the Yosemite, so does the Tuolumne through Hetch Hetchy. The walls of both the gray granite rise abruptly from the floor, are sculptured in the same style, and in both every rock is a glacier monument. Hence the term glacier. It talks about that. Standing boldly out of the south wall, which is a striking picturesque rock called by the Indians Kalana, which is that big rock outcrop right there. The outermost of the group, 2,300 feet high, corresponds with the cathedral rocks in Yosemite, both in relative position and form. On the opposite side of the valley, facing Kalana, is the counterpart of El Capitan, which is what we see over there on that side. Rises to a sheer and plain to a height of 1,800 feet. Over its massive brow flows a stream which makes the most graceful fall I have ever seen. From the edge of the cliff to the top of an earthquake talus, it is perfectly free in the air for 1,000 feet before it's broken into cascades.
Together, because we can make a difference in our new generation and in our world today. You know, times get tough, but you know, we just talk to the Creator, talk to those spirits, and they'll come in and help you and bless you. And just like I said, you feel great, you be grateful, and also be excellent. So we're gonna do a song.
Samuel, girl.
Dinner. So don't be upset if you see these people walking up in front of you. It's because they deserve it. We want to say thank you all so very much for all the hard work, and we definitely appreciate it. Show them some love, y'all.
Good job, kids. Get your
kids.
I'm not be tossing things. Come on, throw it out there. This is your time to shine.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Throw it out there.
Hands up.
Lady D that's making this happen. These cool volunteers show up and they continue to show out to make this an amazing place. Thank y'all for being a part of it. All right, that's it.
Privilege that they are allowing me and giving me their attention. That's an act of privilege. So what's the response to that? Humility, honesty. And what we have right now in public discourse is an incredible lack of humility and not enough compassion and not enough empathy. Empathy is incredibly underrated. Excuse me, empathy. Underrated. Yes. Yep. But not ego. So this place, goes to say, is Yosemite Valley. And Yosemite Valley was part of the Yosemite Grant, which set aside Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoia, the largest grove of giant sequoia. Well, the most impressive grove of giant sequoia because it contains the largest tree on earth. I never get tired of saying that, but that's the General Sherman tree. Now, that's not the issue with America, military. Why is it named after a general? Why can't it be named after a civil rights activist, a women's suffrage activist? Why can it not be named after someone whose job, whose profession, whose passion it was to inspire a group of people to claim their humanity and not allow themselves to be seen as anything less, but as something more? But not because of someone leading troops killing people. If a war, whenever wars erupt anywhere in the world, they erupt because of a lack of humanity and a lack of understanding that those are just other people. And I thought I was just delusional. I thought when the human genome study came out and scientists were saying that the human species was essentially a race of identical twins, that there was more genetic variability among a single troop of chimpanzees in Africa than the entirety of the human race combined. That to me was mind-altering. Why? Because it was saying that every war in the history of our species has always been a civil war. There has never been an us versus them. Never. It has always been us versus ourselves. And the key thing is this: if we were all right now standing in the sea of tranquility on the surface of the moon, besides gasping for breath, which could not be had because there's no oxygen there, and thinking, whose idea was that? Was that Razor's idea? This is not a good thing. But if we were there in a sea of tranquility and we looked back at the Earth at the same moment a thermonuclear war broke out, all we would see is insanity, because all we would see is missiles coming up and missiles coming down, missiles going up and missiles going down onto the same place. There's no us and them. Viewed from the sea of tranquility, ironically phrased, because all you would see is rockets going up and rockets coming down on the same place, because it's just a ball. You just see this. Look at my finger. Leaving United States, Russia, leaving Russia, United States. You would just see that. But from the point of view of the Earth, you just, it would look like that. It would look like absolute insanity. Don't buy into insanity. Don't buy into ego. Buy into humanity and compassion. That's completely underrated. And I'm starting this whole conversation like this because parks were created primarily out of a source, a root, a connection to the earth, which is understanding our own humanity, that we are Homo sapiens, but we have not yet lived up to the Latin that signifies. Homo sapiens means wise man. Wisdom is underrated. Intelligence is overrated. So if everything really hit this proverbial fan, find people and surround yourself with people who are not necessarily the smartest people, but are the wisest people. Is this resonating what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. So that's why this environment here in a cemetery is not by mistake, because the people who were here are still here, and they had odds with other people. When people walk in, they think, oh, it's so quiet, it's peaceful here. What's that phrase? The graves of Andrew Marvell. The graves of fine and private place where none of them who dare embrace. About the importance of being alive. Dead people don't embrace, except in the George Romero film, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. But in general, they don't. So when you're in this space, cemeteries tend to be quiet. They tend to be a place for reflection. That's the other reason why I brought you here. It's because it's quiet, because it is a fine and private place. But I'd rather that this fine and private place be circumscribed by these granite and wooden walls that signify it's a place to rest, it's a place to having thoughts about why parks came into existence and why they need to stay in existence. because that's really the bottom line. We live, we're born, we live, and we die. But how we live our life is completely up to you, and up to you, and up to you. And so what I'm saying to you is that it's great to have teachers.
That's our man.
But think this way. I'm going to keep holding on to something that was saying. Just keep this in mind.
It's Chris Cruz.
What makes a teacher is their passion to illuminate or allow for the illumination of their students. That's what makes a teacher. It's not so much the facts that they teach you to remember. Good teaching is not about remembering facts. Good teaching is about understanding the world better than you did before. If you're here at Yellowstone, if you're here any national park in the United States, and you take a deep breath, you're breathing in of spirit, not just a breathing in of the oxygen itself, but the breathing in of the sky. And that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Your mom goes, where are you going? I'm going to breathe in the sky at a place that truly matters. Where's that? It's called the National Park. Then you turn to the camera. Because national parks matter. It's not so much the language of the words of national park. It's places where the sacred is still remembered as being sacred. There are temples, there are mosques, there are synagogues, there are churches. But there's only one Yosemite. There's only one Yellowstone. There's only one, the Grand Canyon. Visit any national park that its name used to be prefaced with the word the Grand Canyon. One of the older names for Yosemite was the Yosemite. One of the older names for Yellowstone was the Yellowstone. But if you talk to people now and say, where are you going? And you just do this. Ask me where I'm going. Just ask me, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
The Yellowstone. Now, that fits, right? Now, ask me where I'm going again.
Where are you going?
The grocery store. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Even if it's a really nice grocery store, it doesn't fit. So when you're at and in these places, they will be at and in you and you and you and you and you and you. And at some point, after you leave and you head back home, you're going to remember, and I know you've heard this before, you're going to remember something that happened here, something that you saw, something that you heard, something that you smelled, some fragrance that you had never known existed. I'm getting to the point. Do not rush me. You always rush me, bird to sing. And it'll stay with you. Everybody take a deep breath. Exhale. Another deep breath. Exhale. Remember this, kiss your student. When you took that deep breath, there was some part of Yosemite that you breathed in, and whatever it was, don't rush me, whatever it was, will never leave your body for the rest of your lives. It's just going to be in you, playing around, opening your eyes, opening your spirit. And when people come here, this place goes into them as much as they go into the place. That's the power of national parks. They don't change you, they make you into something better. Because what they do is, I call it, it's a reset of spirit. It's a reset of mind. And when you're in these places, they have that alchemy of spirit and mind that changes, doesn't change you, it reveals who you really are. Does that feel like a welcome? Does that feel like a welcome? Yeah. How about this? You drive up and say, $20. Does that feel like a welcome? No, what if it's like, hey, yeah, this entrance station is $20 to come in, but this is your park, this is your place. Why don't rangers stay at the entrance station? Too many people. If every ranger made everyone feel that they were at home, the line would be from here to Ohio. Because there's so many people, 4 million visitors a year. So they can't do that, they can't do that. But there's power in welcoming people, and that is full circle to my job as community engagement specialist. My job is to make people who heretofore have not been made to feel welcome on public lands, to make them feel that this is a homecoming. This is not just public lands, this is your home away from home. You own this, this is your property. I work for you, yes, I work for you. Any ranger that you see works for you. Now, how does that make you feel?
Special.
Yeah, and you are special. The problem is we are in a culture where young people, where children are not made to feel special. but they are, because any child has incredible power, because they will see something that their elders will never see. They will inherit something that their elders cannot inherit, because in spirit form, they can't make those kinds of changes. At least the spirits that I know. That's another program. Take a deep breath. Another deep breath. Exhale. Compose yourself. Do this. Whatever and wherever you go, and whatever you end up doing, when I ask you to take that deep breath, there is some aspect of Yosemite, or as they used to say 100 years ago, the Yosemite, that you breathe in, that you will never be able to fully exhale. There is some microcosmic bit of dust that'll find its way into your lungs, your respiratory tract, your body, and it will never leave. That it's always there. And never underestimate something very, very small. Because a planet is something that is very, very small. And from a certain point of view, a planet is just a speck of dust. And we, human beings, should have no ego whatsoever. We're in a garden variety star in a spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. We're not even at the galactic center. So, relatively speaking, we're in Kansas compared to New York. I have met some great people from Kansas. My family's from Missouri, which they used to say sometimes misery, but I don't know if they're But don't take yourself too seriously, but always take the work that you end up doing as the most serious thing, except for taking care of your family. That's the most important thing. Because what good is it what you attain if you can't share that and pass it down to a next generation that fully recognizes that war is never an alternative to peace. War is literally an embrace of insanity. That's why World War I was known historically, looking back, as the Great War. Wars don't make one great. Who was that? That was Star Wars. Wars do not make, Yoda said that, you know? But in Yoda, George Lucas was influenced by Joseph Campbell, the comparative mythologist, who's absolutely brilliant. If you want to hear someone who's absolutely brilliant, The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. I keep watching that sometimes over and over again, because that dude just had it. He understood that myths were not mythological. Myths were stories parents told to their children that were instructive and illuminating and entertaining. That's why they've lasted for thousands and thousands of years. That's the best critic of all, not the Pulitzer Prize, not the Nobel Prize, but your book never goes out of print. That's the greatest acknowledgement that what you've done is significant. And what I want you guys to do is not do something significant, but pursue a path that is significant. It's the path that makes us who we are, just like hiking in a trail. And sometimes hiking in a trail, knowing that you're not at the top of the food chain, results in incredible humility. I mean, think about it. Something's looking at you and all it's thinking is this: you look tasty. I mean, you're just being reduced to calories. That is humbling. I mean, I have a PhD from Oxford University. I went to Cambridge. And you just see me as a meal? That's just wrong. And then as you're screaming, it just tears you apart, because they're not impressed by that. Be impressed by wisdom. Be impressed by people who really are looking at the heart of what this world is all about and learning about what the heart of this country is. Because America, still to this day, is great on paper. The Constitution, great on paper. We have had time and time. There's nothing wrong with just going, hey, we're going the wrong way. Turn around and going back to the trail. Not just keep, why are we all going forward? This is insane. I don't know. Let's just keep moving. No, you stop and say, is this good path that we're following? No, let's go back, reconsider. Check. We made a wrong turn. Self-correction. Every society, every human being has to have the ability to self-correct. Is it all making sense?
Yeah.
Because remember, I'm saying this to you because of that power, that innate power that I can see. Oh, right there. Really? That's gonna happen? Oh, dude. Keep working. I'm gonna be moving. She went like this. I know you don't have to tell me. You do not have to tell me about who I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. You understand? never underestimate who you are. Never underestimate your power. Don't let it go to your ego, but understand that other people have the same power or something similar that's just as powerful. But really, more than anything else, what it boils down to, learn as much as you can with the time that's been given to you, and never assume the whole world is in your future, because it could end tomorrow, it could end next week. Live every day as if it's the only day you have left in the world. Does that make sense? Because it could be. Things can happen. You know, my son just had surgery yesterday. It's okay, he's fine, but you never know how it's going to work out.
Beautiful.
What's that?
I didn't know you can whisk on a flute.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
See,
crazy.
The holes are so smooth, like if you put your finger there, you can barely feel them.
Wow.
Because of that, you can just roll off and roll on, and you can make just there's 4 notes. It's just. But if you do it this way,
It's like playing slide guitar.
that's a raven, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just saying he's so overrated. It's all in his head. Listen to me. I got something to say.
Wow, he came pretty close too.
It isn't really.
Because ravens are corvids, and ravens have never known in their entire lives shyness. And if you listen carefully, you can hear all these other vocalizations.
Wow.
Listen. Because he knows I'm. That's what he thought of my program. This is what I think of your program. Well, yeah, ravens are corvids. So if you see a blue bird that has the crest, that's the Stellar's jays. Jays are corvids too. And that's the family. Everyone has a family. Ravens have a family too. It's the corvid family, or corvidae. So. But you know what? You didn't get a shirt.
I'll take it later.
He'll take it later. I said to my wife, I have this shirt, I'll put it out like that. And all of a sudden, got the shirt. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got both hats. How did you get the exact same? That is the exact same color. Oh, it is a little different.
Yeah,
but yeah.
a little bit greener.
Yeah.